Good morning, my dear children of class 10. So today I shall be dealing with Merchant of Venice, and I shall be starting off from where we had left with last. And I shall be dealing with the scene, Act 3, Scene 2. So far what we had seen in MOV was that the casket scene. Particularly going to the casket scene, we have already seen two different suitors, namely Morocco and Prince Aragon. These two have already set their act on by making the choice of going forward with the process of choosing the casket, and both of them have drastically failed. They have badly failed, and now once again we are put forth in front of a scene where finally the person who had been most awaited by Portia, and whom we all readers have also been waiting for, has finally arrived to Belmont, and that person is none other than Bassanio. So Bassanio out here, he has reached Belmont and he is about to choose the casket. So now this Act 3 Scene 2 is extremely a very long scene. In fact, it is one of the longest. And so this scene has been divided into various parts. First we see the confession of love between Portia and Bassanio, which we shall be doing it today. Second is the process of choosing the casket. And after that is the victory that Bassanio achieves and the celebration of his victory. And finally we have a messenger that comes forth from Venice, giving the news about the trouble that Antonio is in back at Venice. So this scene has been basically divided into these various different 4 parts. So it is an extremely long scene, and before I move ahead, I would like to request once again the students to carry a pencil in their hands, so that in case if they come across some meaning or some reference that I made, I advise you all to make note of it, so that it could be kept as a future reference. No doubt you can play and replay the videos too. Anyhow, now let's move ahead with the scene. So now Act 3 Scene 2, Belmont, a hall in Portia's house. The curtain is drawn back and the caskets are seen in the gallery. Musicians are waiting. Bassanio, Portia, Graciano, Nerissa and the attendants, all of them are there out there. So now the first dialogue, let's see. Portia, I pray you tarry. Tarry means wait. I pray you tarry, tarry. Pause a day or two before you hazard, for in choosing wrong, before you risk in choosing wrong. I lose your company, therefore forbear a while. There's something tells me, but it is not love. I would not lose you, and you know yourself. Hate counsels not in such a quality. So here in the very beginning, what we see is, we clearly see the kind of feeling that Portia, she has for Bassanio. And that feeling is definitely none other than love. What she says is, I pray you, I request you, tarry, wait. Pause a day or two, at least wait for a day or two before you hazard, before you risk making a wrong choice. You know, for if you make a wrong choice, I will lose your company. You know, you will lose me. We will lose each other. Therefore, forbear a while. Please wait for a while. Have patience. Please wait for a day or two. There's something that tells me. Asks me to advise you not to make that choice, but to wait for a day or two patiently. But yet, that's something that tells me is not love, you know. But it is not love. I would not lose you. See, she confesses as well as she denies that it is love. She confesses her love, at the same time she denies it, you know. So then see, I would not lose you, and you know yourself, hate counsels not in such a quality. And you know that, although this feeling that is asking me to tell you not to make choice right away is not love, but at the same time it is not hate. It is not out of hate that I'm saying you and telling you, counseling you, because definitely a person who would hate the other would never give such advice. That is what she's saying. But least you should not understand me well, and yet a maiden had no tongue but thought. But in case you misunderstood me, that is what she's saying, misunderstood me, and yet a maiden had no tongue but thought. So here, Portia is being very modest out here, and it is her maidenly modest that prohibits her from speaking her thought aloud. It is her maidenly modesty that is prohibiting her from speaking her maidenly thought, because women at that point of time were not allowed to speak their thought. They were allowed to think, but it was always meant to remain limited till their thought, and not be vocal about their thought. So that is what we see out here, and she is referring to, that she's referring out here to her maidenly modesty that prohibited her from speaking her thought. I would detain you here some month or two. Earlier she says that I want you to wait for a day or two. Now a day or two has extended to a month or two. So see, she's very apprehensive that Bassanio might choose the wrong casket, which she does not want to happen. For we had already seen in Act 1, Scene 2 that she has already expressed her love for Bassanio, her keen interest and love towards keen interest in Act 1, Scene 2, and out here she has definitely confessed her love directly, and which she also denies. Then see, before you venture for me, I could teach you how to choose right, but I am then forsworn how to, so will I never be. So please wait for us. So she requests Bassanio to wait for a month or two now. And not just that, she even goes to the extent of saying that if you stay for a month or two, I will definitely choose you, I will definitely teach you a way to allow you to make the right choice. So here she goes to that extent, in a spur of moment, she forgets about everything, and she says that I will, if you stay for a year or two, for a month or two, I will definitely teach you the way to choose the right casket. But then all of a sudden she's reminded of the bound that she is bounded into, and that is none other than her father's will that has chained her from making her own choices, independent choice. So she says, then she's reminded, but I am then forsworn, but since I have made a promise to my father that I would marry the person who would choose the right casket, and because of this promise I am compelled not to reveal you the secret behind choosing the right casket. I will never be able to teach you. So may you miss me, but if you do, you will make me wish a sin that I have been forsworn. So she says that, and in case, so since I'm not allowed to reveal the secret, and in case by chance unfortunately you happen to make a wrong choice, then when that happens, then you will make me swear, and wish that how I had broken that promise. You will make me wish that I wish I had broken that promise and made you teach you the way of choosing the right casket if you in case had chosen the wrong casket. So then, how to choose right, but I am forsworn, so will I never be. so may you miss me. But if you do, you will make me wish a sin that I had been forsworn. Beshrew your eyes, they have overlooked me and divided me. So beshrew your eyes, cursed be your eyes. They have overlooked me. They have cast a spell upon me. So she is confessing her love, as we had already told you, and divided me. One half of me is yours, the other half yours. So here what she says is, cursed be your eyes, for your eyes have cast me a spell. I have been completely captivated by you. So, and I have been divided, and that very eyes of yours has divided me into two. And here she means to say that one half is mine and the other half yours. But by mistake she says one half yours, and again she repeats the other half yours. See, one half of me is yours, the other half yours, mine own. And again she corrects herself, mine own, I would say. But if mine, then yours. But then again she quickly says, she says that what is mine is yours. So definitely I am yours. That is what she is saying out here. So she is openly confessing her love out here, which we very well see out here. So, and so all yours. Oh, these naughty times put bars. Put bars means obstacles between owners and their rights. And here by owners she is referring to Bassanio and their rights, what they are rightful of. So here she is referring that to herself. She feels that she is she should be rightfully owned by none other than Bassanio himself. So, oh, these naughty times, these bad times are putting an obstacle between the owner and their rights. And so, though yours, not yours, and so, though I am yours, I am yet not yours. Prove it so. So in order to show the world that I am yours, prove it. Prove it so. Let fortune go to hell for it, not I. Let fortune be damned for it. Then I speak too long, but it is to peace the time. It is to peace the time here means she is trying to retard. She's trying to delay the time. So she says that although she is speaking really too much, she has already spoken enough and she has spoken a lot, but she is doing so only to delay time and to refrain and stop Bassanio from making the choice, and she fears that she might make a wrong choice. So she's trying to stop him here. To ache here means to prolong it. To prolong it. What? To prolong what? To prolong him from making the wrong choice, and to draw it out in length, and to stay you from election, and to to the fullest extent she wants to delay the time, prolong the time, and she wants to hold him back from making the choice at the moment, for she is apprehensive. She fears that Bassanio might make a wrong choice and thereby lose his company forever. So Bassanio, let me choose. But Bassanio, on the other hand, he has a different thought. He is pretty impatient. So he says instead, let me choose, let me make the choice, let me not wait. For as I am, I live upon the rack. For the things are such right now that I feel that I live in rack. Rack here, he metaphorically, literally, the word rack means, it is a device where there is a kind of a bed where somebody who is guilty of some crime is laid down on that bed, where all his limbs on the four corners of the bed is tied and is stretched from both the sides. His body and his limbs are completely stretched, and he is tormented. He is tormented in order to force the truth out of him. So literally that is the meaning of rack. And here by rack, when Bassanio refers to rack, he is making a metaphorical reference and not a literal reference. Metaphorically, what he meant to say is that he is in a state of torment. He does not have, to wait that long itself is a torture for him, because he wants to immediately make that choice, and as soon as possible he wants to have Portia as his own. So he says that very patience of waiting would actually come as a state of torture for him, a state of torment for him. So metaphorically he meant that. All right. But then the funny thing is that Portia says, upon the rack, Bassanio, then confess what treasons here is mingled with your love. So Portia out here, she tries to take the meaning of this rack in a literal sense, while all the while Bassanio was trying to referring to this rack in a metaphorical sense. Portia takes it in a literal sense, and she says, what, are you being tormented? That means you are guilty of some crime, you mean to say? Then confess what treason, what guilt there is mingled with your love. What treacherous fault is mingled with your love. You confess that immediately, since you say that you are in a rack. Then Bassanio, none but the ugly treason of mistrust. So nothing. I am guilty of no other treason but the ugly treason of mistrust. That is, but the ugly treason of doubt. Ugly treason of doubt, which makes me fret. Fret means dread, enjoying of my love, which makes me dread that I may not be able to enjoy my love. So there may be as well be amity and life. And so he says there may not be a friendship between, just as there might not be friendship between snow and fire. Likewise, treason and his love cannot go hand in hand in him. So Portia, then Portia, but I fear you speak upon the rack, which mean enforced. Do speak anything. So again, she still is taking the meaning of the rack in a literal sense, and she says, yes, but I fear you speak. Yes, but I fear that you speak upon the rack. You're speaking out of compulsion. Because you are as if you are being compelled by torture, when men are tortured and forced to speak almost anything. And I'm sure, and I feel that you are doing so exactly the same. You are speaking out of force, you are not speaking the truth. So Bassanio then says, promise me life and I will confess the truth. So promise that you will spare me my life and I will confess the truth. I will confess you the truth. Then Portia says, well then, confess and live. Well then, I want you to confess the truth, and then I shall allow you to live. Then you live. Bassanio, confess and love has been the very sum of my confession. So he says that confess and love, these two words are the very zest of his confession, of my confession. Oh, happy torment when my torturer doth teach me answers for deliverance. So here, who is the torturer? Yes, the torturer he is referring to out here is Portia. Oh, happy torment when my torturer doth teach me answers for deliverance. So he says he's that he's referring this torturer, by torturer he's referring it to Portia. He says that Portia, he says, is keeping him from the agony, keeping him from an agony of suspense from which he wants to be liberated. And that liberation he can achieve only after he's allowed to move ahead with the making of choice of casket. But let me to my fortune and the casket. So please let me go. let me go and have my fortune settled, you know, by making the choice of the casket. Let me have my fortune settled. Portia, then finally she is reluctant, since Bassanio is so determined to make his choice of casket. He's pretty impatient too. And now Portia reluctantly, she allows him to go ahead. So with this, we finish this first part of this very long play where Portia confesses her love for Bassanio. And what will happen next, we shall see in the next video. So dear children, I would like you to keep referring to these to review this video, and in case if you fail to understand, you could actually personally message me any line that if you feel that you might have might have been confused or might not be able to understand. You could always personally message me. Apart from that, I want you to, as I had already told you, I want you to make certain notes for all the explanations that I have made, so that it will be of use for you for your future reference. Thank you, my dear children.